Hello book besties and welcome back to my channel, Chris T's Books. Today we're going to be doing a February reading wrap up and a March TBR. I read 9 books in the month of February, which is pretty good because February isn't that the shortest month of the year? I don't know what I'm asking you guys. Like, you guys are gonna be like, yeah, it is. Anyways, I feel like I did pretty good. I worked every single day in February, guys. I have not had a day off since 7 years, honestly. Like, definitely mid-January was my last day off. I read 9 books, mainly romance, honestly, because hello, February is a month of love. I had 1 5-star read. Did I have a 2-star? Did I have 2 2-stars? No, just 1. Almost 2, but just 1. A wide range of books. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the books that I read this February. Oh, wait. Before we do, I made coffee today. Big mistake. My whole bit is that I like to drink tea and read books. So I made coffee today. Doesn't go with the theme, but I was like, whatever, I need caffeine. This is nasty. I don't know what I did to this. That's my sign to not drink coffee and to literally just stick to tea. It's literally half my name. Anyways, let's get into the books. The first book I read in February was Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. We're going to include Rebel Witch in this because I actually read both of these books in February. 4.5 stars for both of them. They were so good. I was really needing fantasy, so I think that these books found me at the right time. If you don't know what Heartless Hunter is, it is a duology. It is called the Crimson Moth duology, and these books follow our main character, Rune. She is a witch. What's that movie on Disney Channel with the witches? Twitches. I love that movie. There's no correlation. Literally just my brain went to Twitches. As Rune, she is a witch, and the society that she lives in used to have witches in charge and allowed to do whatever they want, but the Republic kind of took over and witches are now they're to be offed if they find out that you're a witch. That's not good considering our main character is a literal witch. She is kind of in hiding. She doesn't want anyone to know that she is a witch, but it doesn't stop there. She still has her power. She's still practicing her powers to help other witches be free and not be captured, not be off, It also is dual POV, and it follows our other main character, Gideon, who's a witch hunter. A hot witch hunter. I feel like that's really important to the story. These two are kind of suspicious of each other, of being a witch hunter and a witch. Well, he doesn't know that she's a witch, but he has an inkling. So he's suspicious of her. He thinks that she might be the Crimson Moth, and he thinks she might be the one saving all these witches, and she thinks that if she dates him, she'll be able to get more information and save more witches. So they court each other. There's also so many other things going on, but I feel like that is the main premise of the story. This is so good. If you are someone who is new to fantasy, you will understand this. This is literally like the Vampire Diaries, just with witches. It's very easy to understand, and the enemies to lovers. This is why I like enemies to lovers. I've been reading too many enemies to lovers lately that do not hit, and this hit so hard. Rated both of these a 4.5 stars. If you have not read this duology, you need to read it. It's so good. The next book that I read in February is Twisted Games. This is book number 2 of the Twisted series. Do I recommend this series? No. It's just a very acquired taste. It's very, I don't know if you would call it a dark romance. Maybe just a smutty, chaotic. Things don't always add up, but they're fun. In math class when you were doing word problems and your answer to the word problem absolutely made not a lick of sense, but you had fun along the way. That's what the Twisted series is. I loved this book. I love this book so much. Reese and Bridget are such a cute couple. Cute is not the right word. Good, solid, strong. They make a great team. A lovely couple. This book follows Bridget. She is the princess. What's it called? Albania? Don't ask me to recount details like that. She is the princess. Essentially, what happens with her? Her brother is in line for the throne, and her brother falls in love and is like, bye, I'm not doing it, because you have to be in love with a royal. Hello. We know how these things work. So she is now next in line for the throne for her country. Her bodyguard, Reese, he's protecting her while all this is happening, helping her, protecting her. They start having a physical relationship. Why am I I'm so sorry. Reese is hot, of course. He's her bodyguard. And they kind of start having a physical relationship while also they're falling in love. He has been her bodyguard for years and years and years. And they are falling in love. I also just cannot tell you too much of what's going on, or else it's giving spoiler. so I'm not going to tell you all that goes on, but let me just say this book gave me like Princess Protection Program meets no, I actually have absolutely no idea what it means. It just gave me like Princess Protection Program, like the Princess in Protection. There was no hot guy in that movie to my knowledge, but like if there was a hot guy, it was fabulous. I literally eat this book up. Like, I cannot wait to finish this Twisted series. I am taking a little bit of a break because these books are so freaking long, and for what? I don't necessarily recommend these books because, like I said, they're kind of like absurd. There is no country. What's it? Aldora! Aldora? I think that's what it's called. Things are absurd going on. Like, it's very just like for shock value. I'm eating it up. Baby, I grew up on Pretty Little Liars, The Fosters, and Switched at Birth. 4 stars. I'm gonna continue the series. If you didn't know, these books are also on Kindle Unlimited. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read these books. I think they're super, super good. Next couple of books that I read for a video reading romance books for a week for Valentine's Day, so I'm not really gonna divulge too much into them. The first one that I read was Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Rated at 4 stars. It was such a solid book. I enjoyed my time reading it. I loved the main characters so much. I related to Homegirl so much. It's at a camp setting. These 2 characters had a one-night stand. They're not supposed to be together at the camp. You're not allowed to have romantic relations with the other counselors, so they have to kind of hold off on their physical want to be together. So they form a friendship and they end up falling in love. Spoiler alert. I really enjoyed this book, and I think this book is super cute coming up for summertime because it takes place at a summer camp. What else could you ask for? The next book I read for that video is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. I gave this 3 stars. This book was just lackluster. I think that this book could have just been so much better than it was. That sounds so mean. How do I nicely say? It just like didn't hit the spot. Wait, that was nice. It just didn't hit the spot. Concept was really cute, and maybe it was just the main characters. The main characters were honestly insufferable. I can't do insta love. I still give it 3 stars because did I read it very quickly and want to know what was going on? Yes. But did I really enjoy it? Not really. Boo, honestly. The last book I read for that video was The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This book is like a Groundhog Day trope meets Valentine's Day. So our main character is living through Valentine's Day over and over and over again, and she's having a terrible day. Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad Valentine's Day. I'm usually not a girl who likes the groundhog trope. Like, it honestly ticks me off because it's like we get it, just move on. But honestly, it didn't bother me that much in this book. Every day actually felt really different, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I loved our main character, and I loved the love interest, and it was just really relatable. I love Lynn Painter's writing. Like, her YA books, somehow I found myself relating to. I'm literally like 10 years older than the main characters, usually. Really enjoyed this book. I think this is a perfect read for Valentine's Day. If this book is on your bookshelf, I would honestly wait until Valentine's Day because this is like the quintessential Valentine's Day book, and I'm so glad I read it on Valentine's Day. I did it 4 stars. I love Lynn Painter. The next book that I read is Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. This book follows our main character Scarlett, and she's a swimmer. She kind of had an injury a couple years ago doing this like specific dive, and so she's kind of stuck in a rut trying to get that dive back as her team is like competing or whatever. And then it follows Lucas. He's a swimmer, but he's like one of those swimmers that's like and she's one of the swimmers that's like diver. She's a diver and he's a swimmer. The hamster in my head is running on the wheel and like nothing is happening. She's a diver, he's a swimmer. Basically, how do I even explain this? Lucas recently has a breakup with his girlfriend named Penn. Penn is another main character in the book, which is honestly really low-key annoying. Penn and Lucas break up, and Penn kind of like unknowingly sets Lucas and Scarlett up. She's like, y'all are into the same things in the bedroom. So Lucas and Scarlett kind of like strike up a little deal that's just like, hey, let's explore these things that we've always wanted to explore in the bedroom together. And they do. He really manifested that, like, honestly. But then, of course, they end up falling for each other. Of course. I think for me, the reason why I just didn't love this book is just because the other girl, Penn, who broke up with Lucas, she was the one who broke up with him. She just constantly was like calling him and texting him and trying to like get back on good terms with him. It was just so annoying. You broke up with him. Leave it alone. And then our main character, Scarlett, would piss me off too because she'd be like, Penn's not doing well. We need to go protect Penn. We need to do this. And then when Penn would like call Lucas or whatever, she'd be like, why is she calling him? Girl, you're allowing this to happen. I just have a lot of issues with this book. Did I read it quickly? Yes. Did I enjoy my time for the most part reading it? Yes. Some things I'm just so frustrated thinking about, and I'm just like, how are we supposed to root for these people? You know who I always rooted for? Lucas. That man is iconic, and I don't know how he put up with all this nonsense. Like, honestly, I gave this a 3 stars. Like I said, I did enjoy my time. Like, I got through it. It didn't feel like I was like struggling to read the book. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just there. I will forget about this book in about 3 days. Kind of disappointing because Allie Hazelwood is one of my favorite authors. Allie Hazelwood's STEM books I really, really enjoy, and her other books are just not for me. The next book that I read is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. Can you tell I didn't like this book? Like, my face like visually dropping. This book follows Josh and Kristen. I literally read this 2 days ago. Like, that just shows how forgettable it was. Josh and Kristen, they met with like, they had like some sort of like car accident, fender bender type moment, and that's how they meet. It's not really meet cute. I'm sorry, if somebody crashed into the back of my car, we're not dating. They have like some sort of fender bender moment, and then they realize that each other's hot. Their best friends are getting married. Like, his best friend, her best friend getting married. Josh ends up working for Kristen, so they're in close proximity all the time, and they end up like having this physical relationship with each other, but Kristen kind of puts him in the friend zone. This is my problem with the book. Actually, I have a lot of problems with the book, so sit down, please. I have so many problems with this book. First of all, Kristen had a boyfriend at the beginning of this book. Was she in love with him? I don't think so. They meshed well together, but he didn't do anything wrong. And that's my thing. Like, he was not out there like cheating on her, being shady, being any of this. Like, she just like would not communicate what she needed from him. And so it falls back on her. Communication is key. Sorry, I'm literally screaming. Has a boyfriend, and her whole reason that she can't be with Josh is because she has this boyfriend. Just break up with the boyfriend. Like, oh my gosh. The whole other plot that is introduced into this is that she also has some health issues, and in which she will not be able to have a child. So she kind of feels like because of those health issues that she's unlovable. She needs to be with someone who doesn't want kids, because she feels like if she's with someone who wants kids, then she's like making that guy settle. In her mind, if she were to date Josh, she knows Josh wants children, and she knows that she cannot provide that, so she feels like she's not enough for Josh. But instead of telling Josh all of this stuff, she just doesn't ever tell him. And I will say, like, every woman is different. Every woman is entitled to her own feelings in her own relationships, and entitled to keep her health a secret. Like, you do not need to tell every man that you date your health secrets, or if you choose to be an open book, then that is great for you. Like, that is not why I was dogging on the main character. I'm dogging on the main character because she sees that this man is in love with her. I'm just dogging on her for so many reasons. She had a boyfriend. She's leading this other man on. Just too much. It was just too much. And then this like giant plot twist happens. I'm not going to talk about it. But the plot twist was so like, did we really need to go there for these two to get together? I also just think this is Abby Jimenez's debut novel. So I think I went into it with way too high expectations, because I've only read Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. All of those above a 4-star. I think I just went into this thinking of like the new Abby Jimenez, like the new and improved, years of writing under her belt. No, baby, this is her first book. That's like me in high school writing versus like me in 5th grade writing. Neither are good, honestly, but like one was clearly better than the other. I had actual sentences going on. Just too many things in this book that were just too frustrating, and I just feel like everything could have been fixed with a simple communication. And I understand that like health issues are something that's very hard to communicate about. I totally understand, and I actually really relate to that. I just do not understand. Simply, I do not understand. And also, Josh, he was just saying some weird things to me that just did not sit right in my tummy. Like, there was one time she was literally like crying and acting off or whatever, which, like, I'm sorry, I would be acting that way too if I was in that much pain. I'm sorry, I would be crying and acting a little bit moody. And he just like treated her like, women, women on their periods. I rated this 2 stars. I put this book in the friend zone, okay? I don't know what else to say besides this book was just not for me. There were too many things going on in this book. I did not like this book. I do not like it, Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham. I wish I could reverse in time and reverse the time that I read this book in, because I did not like this book. Can you guys tell that I didn't like this book? Is it clear? We're going to move on because like I've been yapping about this book for a while. Last but certainly not least, we have my 5-star read of the month. I'm sure you've seen this book everywhere. I'm pretty sure this was Barnes & Noble's book of the year. Did I make up that fact in my head? I don't think I made up that fact in my head. This is James. I did not expect this book to be 5 stars. I honestly did not. When my family said that we were going to read this for book club, I was like, okay, period. Like, I've heard good things. I was expecting like a 4-star. This book is incredible. When you were younger, if you ever read Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn, I was literally in a Tom Sawyer play once. Played some random girl named Susie. I think I was just sassy and like ran around. I was like, can we go to the cave? I haven't read Huckleberry Finn. I remembered reading Tom Sawyer and learning about Tom Sawyer. Huckleberry Finn, I don't know him. So I did do a little like Spark Notes summary before I went into this book because I was like, let me not be missing out on information here. This book follows the point of view of Jim. He finds out that he's going to be sold to somebody else and be away from his wife and his daughter. So he decides to run away with Huck and find a way to save his daughter and his wife and all be free together. That is like the most bare synopsis that I could come up with. Also, if you've read Huckleberry Finn, then you know what happens. Like, this just like touches on way more. First of all, the storytelling was insane. Like, I literally could picture exactly where we were, what these people looked like, and where we were going. Like, I could literally picture everything in my head, and I'm sure I could picture it even more if I remembered that Tom Sawyer Huckleberry Finn book. What's so crazy about this book is I was laughing, crying, and like livid at the same time reading all 300 pages of this book. Maybe I was laughing, crying. I would urge everybody to read this book, even if you know absolutely nothing about Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, like me. I would so urge you to read this book because it's so important still today in 2025. I've tabbed quotes in this book. The quotes that I tabbed still apply today. Jim in this book, our main character, I mean, what just fell on me? I love the main character so much. Like, he is such an amazing main character. To see where he starts at the beginning of the book to where he ends up, the things that he went through and saw in this book. I don't even know what to say about this book. Like, I'm actually speechless. Like, I have no words. I think this is going to be a modern day classic in the way that like Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer are like classics. I think this is going to be considered a classic. I loved every second reading it. There was not a time that I was bored. There was not a time I didn't understand what was going on. I cannot recommend this book more. Those are all the books that I've read in the month of February. Now let's move on to my March TBR. It's honestly not that big of a TBR. I have some videos planned that include me picking random books or someone else picking out books for me. Stay tuned for those videos. That's not the biggest TBR ever, just a couple books that are on my radar. First one is The Love Haters by Catherine Center. I got the arc. I'm so excited to read this book. I've read, I think, only one Catherine Center book. What I have read of her, she's incredible, and I cannot wait to read this arc. I'm literally so excited. Second book on my March TBR is Phantasma. The second book in this little duology comes out in April, so I really want to read the first one. I heard that it's giving Caraval, but like more grown up, which is exactly what I need because I'm sorry, Caraval was too YA for me. I'm so excited to read this book. It's on Kindle Unlimited if you were also wanting to read this book. Like I said, the second one, Enchantra, comes out in April. So if you are like me and you've been wanting to read this book, don't put it off much further because the next one is coming out. The next book I really want to read in March is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I want to read this book so that I can read Carrie Soto Is Back and then I can be done with that little series. Just being more in preparation for Atmosphere to come out in June. I am so excited to read this book. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. I think she's one of my favorite authors. Daisy Jones and the Six is literally, oh baby, look at us now. Baby, look at us now. Ain't working out. No one cares, actually. Malibu Rising is on my TBR for March. The next book on my TBR is First Time Caller by BK Barrison. This is on my TBR because I love listening to that Bookmarked podcast with Destiny and Sarah, and this was their book for February, so because I keep up with that podcast, I really want to read this one. And finally, I want to read Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is a trilogy, and the final book in the trilogy comes out in literally like a week or two. Now I can finally read it because you know I can't do unfinished things. I cannot be waiting around all day for the next book to come out. So this is the perfect time to start this so that I can start the second book and then start the third book while everyone else is reading it and then be included. It's the smartest thing I've ever done. And like I said, I have so many other books on my radar for March, but I have videos planned where they're going to be like surprises or someone's gonna pick them for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to the books that I've read in February. I will see you soon for a ton more videos, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye!